So we're going to start our next section, which is 5.2. And in this section, we're going to talk about area. So our motivation or our goal in this section is we want to find the area under a curve and above the x-axis. So let's look at an example of a curve. So let's say we want y equals x squared, and I'm going to focus in on x being between 0 and 2. So we can graph, this is part of a parabola, and we only want the right-hand portion of the parabola. So here's 0, x is 1, y is 1, x is 2, y is 4. So there's part of my parabola. I mean, the other part goes that way, right? And I want the area of the region under this curve, but above the x-axis, and I'm cutting it off at x equals 2. So I'm looking for the area of this region right here. But I'm going to say that we have a problem. And the problem is that this region is irregularly shaped. I mean, we have a lot of area formulas at our disposal, right? The area of a square, a rectangle, a triangle, a circle, lots of regions we know area formulas for. But the problem is because I have this curved side up here at the top, this is an irregularly shaped region. So none of those area formulas will help us. And so I'll say that the solution to this problem is the following. We're going to use rectangles to approximate this area. So we're going to take something that's irregularly shaped and approximate it with nice shaped objects, which are rectangles. Rectangles are very nice. We know how to compute the area of a rectangle, so it's going to help us out a whole lot. It's not going to give us the exact area, but it's going to give us an approximation for the area. All right. So let's go ahead and say we need to choose how many rectangles we are going to use. So let's say we are going to use, and I'm going to use n to represent the number of rectangles we use. N, it's going to be 2 rectangles. For this example, we were looking at y equals x squared. And we want these rectangles to have equal width. So they should have equal width. And what is this width going to be then? So the width would be, we'll take the length of the interval, so x goes from 0 to 2, so 2 minus 0, and divide by how many rectangles you're making, which is 2. So the width of each rectangle would be 1. Okay, so we've got the width of these rectangles, but now what we need to decide is what's the height of these rectangles going to be? So So question, what should the height of the rectangles be? Well, we have some options, and so we're going to consider a couple of those options. We are going to consider 3 options for the height. And those 3 options are the following. So 1, you're going to use the right endpoint of the interval. Use the left endpoint of the interval. And then the third option will be use the midpoint. So we're going to look at our example, y equals x squared, and we're going to look at all 3 of these options.